Tuesday. This was supposed to be yesterday, but of course there was that Facebook outage. And so I'm going to go over the mistakes that nice guys make today, aka why she friend zones you. All right, so the first mistake is that nice guys are afraid of what people will think of them. So basically, they end up saying yes to everyone. They don't say no enough. They're people pleasers. And what happens is because of that, they get spread thin. Okay? So they're not present. They're anxious. They're not in their body. They're not making conscious decisions because all of their decisions are being made from a place of what will people think of me? There's anxiety there. And if you don't want to say no to your friends and you don't want to say no to her, then you end up basically living this double life where you're trying to please everyone. And everybody ends up mad at you because you didn't prioritize, you didn't say no, you didn't have a direction and a vision, and then execute leadership in that, in that direction or to get everyone on board, right? So here's the thing. A woman experiences this in her body as unsafe. So if you see me posting about how like nice guys are dangerous, this is what I'm talking about. Telling everybody yes creates mental and physical health issues. It creates high blood pressure, okay? Creates stress hormones, anxiety, heart problems, right? Mental health issues. Because you're spreading yourself too thin. And a woman can't trust a man who's spreading himself too thin because he won't have the energy or the capacity to protect her or lead her. In fact, she's often the one that gets the little bit that's left in the tank at the end of the day. And he ends up, and if you're one of these people, you'll end up blowing up or shutting down because you're exhausted because you've been saying yes to everyone all day and not taking time for yourself. Not saying no, not setting boundaries, and you're giving from an empty cup. Therefore, you have nothing left for her, and you're not present, and you're anxious. And she feels all of that. So what happens? She gets anxious. She feels like, where are you at? How can you lead me? How can you protect me? And again, this is like all energy. She might not say these things, but she's feeling it in her body. All right, the second mistake that nice guys make is that they are manipulative. Now, hear me out. Almost everyone is manipulative, right? Like when I say manipulative, I just mean adjusting what you say or do to get a particular outcome. So if you are a teacher, you kind of manipulate the kids into doing the work. If you're in sales, you kind of manipulate people to see your side and to understand how it's good for them. If you, I don't know, like almost anything, if you're at work and you dress a certain way or you speak a certain way, you are essentially manipulating the situation or the outcome in your favor. So I'm not demonizing this idea of manipulation or saying that it's the worst thing in the world. And like, so when I say you're manipulative, what I mean by that is if you're trying to get something from her or change or shift how she views you by over delivering because you're insecure, and you want her to love, accept, validate, respect, etc. If you want her to do all of those things for you, therefore you're over giving, you're over delivering. That is manipulation. That is manipulation. It's a major turnoff. And what ends up happening is you attract other people who are manipulative. And it's not something you're doing consciously. It's not. I just want to put that out there. She wants a man who doesn't need her validation, who doesn't need her respect, who doesn't need her to accept him, who doesn't need her to love him. She wants a man who can do all of those things for himself and is empowered and present and then chooses her from that place, who really actively chooses her because he wants her. He pursues her from a place of power. He validates himself. He connects to himself. And therefore, that means that he can also connect with her, love her, validate her, accept her because he can do those things for himself. And he will attract a woman who accepts herself, validates herself, respects herself, loves herself, and then they're both doing it separately, and then they come together and they can do it for each other interdependently. All right, the third mistake that he's making is that he's a follower. Nice guys are followers. If a nice guy can't give his woman a clear, from his gut, yes or no, because he's afraid of her reaction, then she can't trust his yes or no out in the world. She can't trust his yes or no in situations outside of the home. And she will always be worried that he's swayed by his fear and how other people perceive him, instead of making decisions that are best for himself, for the home, for the relationship, for the kids, etc. So she's going to experience that as a weakness in her body, as a lack of leadership. So the best thing you can do is get really clear on what it is that you want and make decisions that, align with that and create that situation. So in my Nice Guy Accelerator program on October 12th, we're going to go over how to get the results that you want and how to correct the mistakes that you've been making. Okay? Sign up. It's completely free. I'm going to post the link below, and I'll see you then.